So, ayan guys, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. So, dito na nagsisimula ang report namin Group 1 which is Asian Regionalism. So, yes, kami ang Group 1. And then, ako nga po pala si Daniel Kyle Balatukas. Kung hindi nyo pa ako kilala kasi minsan di ako nakaka-attend ng ating Zoom class. So, pasensya na po guys. So, okay, let's proceed with our topic. So, I'm the first who's going to report the regionalism, vitality of Asia Pacific and South Asia, and perspective on globalization. So, ayan po yung topic ko, which is that's the overview. So, simulan natin na sa what is regionalism. Regionalism is the expression of a common sense of identity and purpose combined with the creation and the implementation of institution that express a particular identity and shape collective action with a geographical region. So, sa word na regionalism, isipin nyo na ito yung purpose na mag-combine ang lahat ng bansa na nakapaloob sa isang region or region, yes, region na kumbaga mag-share tayo ng different thoughts na kunyari ang kung anong meron sa bansang to i-share mo sa bansang Japan or kung ano man ang nakapaloob sa bansa na ang nakapaloob na bansa sa loob ng region ng Asia. So next, so based on my notes or sa mga research ko, na topic rin dito yung globalization which is based on Manfred Stigner 2017. Siya yung author ng book na ang pangalan is Globalization, A Very Short Introduction. So, sa regionalism, natatopic rin dito yung globalization or napag-uusapan dito yung globalization na ang pinag-uusapan doon is about sa expansion of the social relations and awareness in different parts of the world. So, pwede itong mag-refer sa politics, economy, technology, or also culture na pwede natin i-share sa ibang bansa, which is, kunyari, kung ano meron tayo dito sa bansa Pilipinas, pwede natin siyang i-share sa bansa na nakapaloob rin sa Asia or Asia Pacific. And then next, ito yung karugtong ng meaning ng regionalism. The regionalism is referring to have a formal social contact with the countries with the same region. Ayun nga. Yun yung sinasabi ko na umpisa na nagbibigay tayo ng thoughts natin na pwede nating i-share sa mga bansa na nakasama natin dito sa ating region which is Asia Pacific or Asia region na it was amended by the actual agreement between the countries members who will unite them in aspect of political, military, technological, or kahit ano pang pwede nilang magamit para mag-unite ang bansa natin na magkaasama sa iisang region. Next, the vitality of the Asia Pacific and South Asia. Nakapaloob dito sa notes ko is the Asia is one of the biggest continents in the world based on the size of its territory. So, tama nga naman na makikita naman natin sa mapa natin na Asia ang ang malaking bansa. Kontinente. Pinakamalaking kontinente na makikita mo ay based sa size ng territory. Pwede mo siyang i-compare sa North and South America, sa Australia. Also, sinasabi dito na Asia is divided to 6 sub-regions that is consisting West Asia. And then, meron din dito na nakapaloob sa research ko na the characteristic of Asia is very different. Here, you can see the lower place, largest, and the deepest seas, also the biggest mountains. Kasi nga naman, sa Asia natin or dito sa region natin, mabibigyan natin ng halimbawa is yung sa Pilipinas. Sa Pilipinas, meron dalawang climate, which is tag-ulan at tag-tuyot. Pero, sa bansang Japan, meron silang klima na nag-i-snow sila, tag-ulan at tag-tuyot din, at meron din silang winter. So, meron silang, marami silang climate na nararanasan sa kanilang bansa. Pero magkakasama pa rin naman tayo sa iisang region. So, kaya masasabi talaga natin na kakaiba yung characteristic ng Asia kasi dito magkakasama naman tayo sa iisang at malaking region pero iba-iba yung nararanasan natin depende sa bansang nakapaloob para sa atin. Meron din dito na sa notes ko at sa topic ko na nagsabi na there are 7 billion populations in the whole world and 4 billion in here are inhabitant in Asia. So akalain mo yun, ganong karami ang population ng region natin. Almost kalahati ng buong population ng buong mundo is nakatira sa Asia. At nang sabi rin dito sa notes ko or based sa topic ko is China and India are the ones that has the largest population in Asia and in the whole world. Kalain mo yun sa ang China at India, India na kasama sa Asia or Asia Pacific or South Asia is sorry is kasama natin sila sa isang region na sila ang pinakamaraming population na mabibilang natin sa buong mundo. And sinasabi rin dito is very rich in tayo ay very rich in terms with culture, especially sa Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam na nag-start naman dito talaga sa Asia, which is ayun nga yung tatlong category ng culture na yon. Dito sila nagsimula sa region natin. Next is yung perspective of globalization. Ngayon, dito sa perspective on globalization, based kay Ehito Kimura na na-search ko, nakapaloob sa essay niya na nakapangalan is Essay of Globalization and the Asia, Pacific, and South Asia. Na sinasabi dito, they give more attention to the changes of economic globalization and how it affects the region of the Asia. So, sa perspective naman nila sa globalization sa ating region, mas pinagkakatuunan nila is yung economy. Kasi economy yung bumubuhay talaga sa atin na pwede tayong magbigay ng trades sa ibang bansa, yung goods natin pwede nating i-ship sa ibang bansa at pwede rin silang mag-ship dito ng kanilang goods sa ating bansa, which is yun ang pinagkakatuunan tsaka kung paano siya aapekto sa region ng Asia or sa buong region ng Asia kung paano makakaapekto ang global economy or economic globalization sa atin. Also, sinabi dito ni Kimura na there are 3 perspectives that can give clarification on the relation of globalization and Asia. And these are the and these are the externalist, generalist, and the alternative view, which is ma-discussion ng susunod na reporter. So, that's it. Hanggang dyan na lang aking report. So, thank you sa pakikinig, everyone. Good luck.
So, ayun, good day everyone. So, after natin i-discuss yung regionalism, so, pupunta naman tayo sa unang perspective ng globalization. So, ito nga yung externalist view. So, tatlo kami ditong magre-report, si Pau Pau, Aboy, ako, at si Rachel. So, let's start. So, ano nga ba yung externalist view? So, according to Ehito Kimura, Asia-Pacific and South Asia is one of the targets of globalization. Globalization is known as a way of Western culture to further spread their influence upon Asia. Knowing that they have the most influence and power, they choose to change the political, economic, and culture that they have been in Asia. So, di ba, nung diniscuss namin sa Vitality of Asia, nakita naman natin na kung gaano kalaki ang parte ng Asia sa mundo. So, almost 4 billion ng tao nakatira sa Asia. Bale, parang naging prey tayo ng mga Western cultures dahil nga marami tayong mga resources, tas mayaman yung mga cultures natin and such. Then, meron tayong cause ng globalization in Asia. So, meron tayong 9. Then, ang first one is imperialism and colonialism. So, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng imperialism? According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, imperialism is the policy or advocacy of extending the power and dominion of a nation, especially by direct territorial acquisitions or by gaining indirect control over the political or economical practice of an area. So, imperialism widened the power of the Western by conquesting the Asia Pacific. So, next naman, what do you mean by colonialism? So, colonialism, it is a policy advocating or based on such control. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the Western actually lived in Asia. So, dito nga, bale, gamit ang imperialism and colonialism, ang ginawa ng mga Western culture is, sa imperialism, sinakop nila tayo kasi nga, nakita nilang opportunity yung Asia as para mapalawak yung mga produkto nila, mga culture nila and such. Pero in colonialism, dito sila nanirahan sa Asia para matutunan rin nila at lalong mapalawak yung yung culture nila or mga product or mga traditions nila. Kaya na-inherit din ng mga ibang bansa sa Asia. So, ito. So, bali nga, di ba, dahil in-explore ng mga Western culture yung Asia, kilala ang Asia kasi bilang unknown land or tierra incognita. Asia is considered unknown until the Western country explored this land, making them known that it holds such rich culture and a variety of land. So, ayan nga, dahil nga hindi pa kilala yung Asia, pero nung nadiskubre ng mga taga-Western cultures, isa na dyan sina Magellan, nakita nila na napakayaman pala ng kultura nito at maraming makukuhang produkto sa Asia. So, ang unang nakadiskubre dito is yung Portugal. Portugal occupied Malacca from 1511 to 1641 when it was taken over by the Dutch and continued the rule over Timor. So, ang Portugal daw, sila yung naunang naglayag sa dagat ng silangan. So, natuklasan ni Vasco da Gama ang India sa Portugal. Yun yung unang natuklasan ng Portugal. Then next naman is Netherlands. The Indonesian archipelago was colonized by the Dutch during the two periods 1605 to 1799 by the Dutch East India Company and 1825 to 1930s by the Dutch government. So sa Netherlands naman, yung una nilang pinuntahan is yung Indonesia. Next naman is yung sa Spain and United States. So, kilala naman natin na ang Spain, kinolonialize nila ang Pilipinas dati for 333 years. 333 years. So, the Philippines was governed by Spain from 1565 until 1898 when Spain was defeated by the United States in the Spanish-American War. As a peace settlement with Spain in 1898, the United States occupied the Philippines until her independence in 1946. So, alam naman natin na nauna yung Spain, then dumating sina MacArthur na nanalo ang US sa Spain, then ayun nga, nagkaroon ng kasunduan sa Pearl Harbor upang ilipat yung pamamahala sa US. Then next is yung Great Britain. Sa Great Britain naman, na conquer nila yung India, Hong Kong, Malaya, Singapore at Ceylon na dating Ceylon na ngayon ay Sri Lanka. Burma was under the British rule from the late 19th century until 1948. Britain governed the Malay Peninsula as a state settlement until 1957. So, lastly naman, next naman is France. France captured Saigon in 1859 and extended their colony to include Annam, Tonkin, Laos, and Cambodia. So, ang France naman, kinonquer nila yung Indochina, which includes the following country that I said. So, by July 8 naman, 1853, inopen ng Japan yung world trade. Inopen ng Japan yung world trade. Inopen ni American Commodore Matthew C. Perry yung Japan sa world trade dahil sa biglaang giyera ng Western culture. Then dahil doon, umusbong na naman yung Meiji Dynasty on 1868-1912 na naging dahilan sa mabilis na modernization ng Japan. So, ang sphere of influence naman, sa sphere of influence, napasama dito ang China, which napasama ang China hindi pala napasama, parang na-impluwensyahan ng China ng France, Netherlands, Great Britain, and United States na naging dahilan kung bakit naging under sila nito. Then, sa mga colonization naman at imperialism, hindi naapektuhan yung Thailand. Hindi siya naapektuhan yung Thailand, kaya na-preserve nila yung culture, pero open naman sila sa ibang culture, which is the Western culture. Then, democracy and Catholicism, lumaganap din sa part ng Asia. So, Catholicism sa atin, so, kitang-kita naman yung reliyoso ang mga Pilipino, and democracy dahil sa war. Yung pagiging, hindi yung government lagi yung namumuno. So, nagkaroon ng nationalism ang mga tao. So, ito na nga yung nationalism na next kong i-discuss. So, another cause ng globalization is yung nationalism. So, due to colonialism, the youths are given a chance to study abroad to continue the philosophies of Hobbes, Locke, Voltaire, and such. Jose Rizal, Sun Yat-sen, and Mahatma Gandhi were the reason for the revolt in their country due to the influence of their writings. So, kaya nga sa mga pagsakop sa ating mga bansa sa Asia ng mga Western cultures, naging laganap dito yung mga lumago yung mga kabataan na naglalayong baguhin tong government ng bawat bansa. So, ayan nga, ang example is Jose Rizal, Sun Yat-sen, and Mahatma Gandhi. So, yung iba, mga nag-migrate sa ibang bansa, nagkaroon sila ng opportunity para mapalawak ang kanilang edukasyon dahil nga sa pananakop. Katulad nito si Jose Rizal. So, dahil dito, parang na-inspire or na-impluwensya nila yung mga naiwang tao sa kanilang bansa through their writings. Parang ito yung naging dahilan para maging bukas yung mga mata nila sa nangyayaring pananakop sa bansa. Then next naman is the World War II. Isang cause din siya ng globalization in Asia. So, dahil nadamay ang Asia kasi nga dahil yung Japan sumali sa Axis power. Kaya nadamay yung Asia sa World War II. So, pero hindi nanalo ang Japan dahil nga sa pinagsamang force ng US at yung USAFFE or United States Army Forces in the Far East. Hindi natagumpayan ng Japan yung pag-establish ng Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere dahil nga doon. So, dahil doon, nanalo yung US and the Eastern Europe. So, ang nangyari, lahat ng bansang nadamay sa gerang to, tinulungan nila, katulad na rin yung Pilipinas, na naging sobrang apektado sa World War II. Yun na po. Next po.
So, hi po. So, ang pag-uusapan naman po natin ngayon is yung number 4 to 6. Yung number 4 po muna is yung Cold War na nag-begin during 1940 and natapos siya noong 1990. Sabi dito, United States and and USSR, sorry po na mali po yung meaning ko ng USSR po dito. Hindi po siya United States of Soviet Russia, but Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. So, sorry po talaga. So, ayun nga po, yung United States and yung USSR na naging allies during World War II against Axis power is naging magka-rival or magkalaban po dito sa Cold War naman. So, etong Cold War naman po is napag-aralan na rin natin before na hindi to yung klase ng war na duguan, yung gumagamit ng sandata, yung ganon. But Cold War rin is also known as silent war. Silent war. So, bakit ba sila nagkaroon ng silent war? Sabi, kasi daw is magkaiba sila ng gusto, ng political ideology. Kaya naging reason rin to, kaya nagunahan yung dalawa sa pagkuha ng mga states na pwede nilang maging member. And dahil dyan is nagkaroon po ng dalawang group, which is yung Warsaw Pact and yung NATO. So, ang una po nating pag-uusapan is yung Warsaw Pact. So, ayun nga po. USSR, disseminated socialism, communism with countries in Eastern Europe. So, ito nga po yung mga member, yung Albania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, Hungary, Poland, Romania, and Soviet Russia. So, ayun nga po, ang isinulong nila is yung socialism, communism, and napag-aralan na rin po natin to before na part po ng government philosophies. So, ang natutunan po natin na yung socialism is more on social services po, while yung communism naman po is totally kontrolado ng government yung lahat ng kontrolado ng government yung lahat ng aspect ng isang state. And yan nga po, but sabi rin dito is yung socialism and communism is may pagkakapareho rin po sila, such as nag-i-establish po sila ng equal society through distribution of resources. And pareho rin silang nag-a-advocate ng public rather than private ownership. But still, kahit po ganun, is may differences rin po sila, such as yung communism po is, there is no such thing as private, and strong central government means kontrolado po talaga lahat ng gobyerno, yung lahat ng aspect ng state, while yung socialism po, kahit na mostly is pagmamay-ari, yung pagmamay-ari ng public, lahat ng resources and minamanage ng government yung industrial kind of production, is still is may kakayahan pa rin yung individual to still acquire a property and own a property. So, dito nga po, sabi, is na-impluwensyahan ng USSR yung some countries in Asia, such as yung China, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and North Korea, na kilala rin ngayon as having a communism countries. So, ito naman po yung next na nabuo, which is yung North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO, na nabuo ng US with France and Great Britain, and na-reinforce nila yung democratic capitalism. Sabi dito, democratic capitalism, also referred to as market democracy, a political and economic system that combines capitalism and the strong welfare state, curbing the excesses of individual freedom. So, ayun nga po. At yung word nga po na capitalism means yung market nila is controlled by private business, and dito is walang the government nararan yung economy without government controlling the production of pricing. And dito nga po is yung bida is yung producers and consumers. Although meron itong free kind of market, still pinopromote po dito yung strong welfare state, which is curbing or controlling yung excesses of individual freedom, which is nga yung laws. And ine-exercise rin dito yung rights ng mga citizens such as yung pagboboto ng mga tao, rights of the minority groups, transparency sa government, kailangan po talaga yan, and yung public opinion and freedom to hear press and marami pa pong iba. So, yun po yung democratic capitalism. So, ayan, yung NATO rin is sinuportahan nila yung Japan who experienced bankruptcy through financial and technical aid. And alam naman po natin, yung Japan ngayon is known as one of the richest countries in the world. Wait lang po. The world. And dahil rin po dito, sa Cold War is nahati po yung China. Yan, yung isa, na-impluwensyahan yung USSR, yung isa naman by NATO. Ito. December 1949, Chiang Kai-shek, leader of Chinese nationalists, escaped and went to Formoc. And when Mao Zedong, leader of communism, won against them. Ayun. Yung Formoc daw, which is known na today as Taiwan. So, through the help of United States, Taiwan built its name as the newly industrialized country and a tiger economy in the world. Ayun. So, kilala yung Taiwan ngayon as one of having high income economies, and yun, kilala rin siya as tiger economy in the world such as Singapore and South Korea. Next po tayo. Ayan. Lang. So, eto, yung nabuo rin yung Southeast Asia Treaty Organization. Sabi dito, the signing of the Southeast Asia Collective Defense Treaty in Manila daw is nangyari noong September 8, 1954 by US, Australia, New Zealand, Britain, France, Pakistan, Thailand, and Philippines. And dito nga is na-establish yung CETO noong February 1995. So, this is formed in Southeast Asia nga with the initiative of United States para ma-prevent daw yung influence ng communism around Asia. So, ayun. So, yun. So, ang kadalasang member daw dito is came from third world countries, which is hindi kabilang sa NATO or sa Warsaw Pact. And yung members daw nito is nakaka-receive regularly financial and military assistance. Regularly. Yeah, regularly. So, next po tayo. Yan. So, ang number 5 naman po natin is yung International Monetary Fund at World Bank na napag-aralan na rin po natin in our past discussion. So, according to Bretton Woods system, IMF and World Bank was organized by United States and Great Britain to help countries in Europe who suffered during World War II by financial means. So, nagkaroon na po tayo ng idea about Bretton Woods system before. So, nangyari daw po to after ng World War II kasi need daw ng mundo ng new financial system. Kaya nagkaroon nito, Bretton Conference, yung dinaluhan ng 44 countries. And under its system nga daw is, yung gold daw is was the basis for the US dollar. And yung other currencies were pegged for the US dollar's value. And yun nga, nabuo nga tong World Bank and IMF para ma-help yung countries around Europe na tag-suffered talaga during World War II. Yun. Tinulungan sila by financial aid. Ganun. So, later on, yung institutions, naging open siya for third world countries for loaning, yun, sa pagpapautang naman po. So, napag-aralan na rin po natin na yung third world countries nga yun, yung mga bansa na hindi nga naging kasapi ng NATO and Warsaw Pact. And kadalasan dito sa third world countries is nag-evolve pa lang or developing countries pa lang, and kadalasan nga makikita natin siya sa around Asia and Africa. So, according sa World Bank org, Yung World Bank Group daw works with developing countries and able to reduce poverty and increase shared prosperity. So, ayan, napag-aralan na rin siya natin before na this is really the largest development institution and dati rin siyang tinawag na International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So, more on, hini-help niyo yung countries to on their constructions, establishments, ganon. And ang pinaka-ultimate goal nga talaga nila, according na rin sa PPT, is to reduce poverty and promote increased shared prosperity. So, yung next naman yung IMF or yung International Monetary Fund that keep tracks of the economy global and in member countries, lends to countries with balance of payments, difficulties, and gives practical help to members. So, ayan. So, ang IMF daw is, minomonitor niya yung economic and financial policies sa mga member countries, and more than that is nagbibigay sila totally ng advice on how to achieve economic stability and para ma-prevent yung financial crisis. And hindi lang yon is nagbibigay rin sila ng financial support and work sa mga member countries para modernize rin yung economic policies and institutions. So, next. Ayun, the given institutions became a way also to implement new liberal trade or neoliberalism. Ayun. So, basta't yun, is a term commonly used to describe free market economics. So, free market economics daw, which is yun nga, according na rin sa napag-aralan natin is they're limited lang or less lang yung involvement ng government dito. So, it involves policies associated with free trade, privatization, which is in private control or ownership, price deregulation means no regulation and restriction sa pagbibigay ng price ng mga products, and a reduced size of government. So, ayun nga yung less lang yung involvement ng government, and a flexible labor market. So, flexible labor markets is labor market which employees is willing sila na mag-work in flexible hours and willing to adapt, to learn new skills, and willing na ma-assign in other location para makapagtrabaho. And according nga dito sa na-search ko po is na willing rin silang ma-pay according sa performance nila, and hindi lang po dyan is according rin po sa na-search ko is ina-allow rin dito yung easy hiring and firing of employees. Yan, yung parang smooth lang talaga. Kasi wala talagang kasing totally limited lang yung control ng government, pero siguro kung meron, but siguro ang rami na rin nagrarally dito, but yeah. So, next tayo. Ayun. So, number 6 na tayo, which is in the growth of export-oriented economies. So, meron tayong kilalang, ito po yung ating 6 dynamic Asian countries. Yung Singapore, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Taiwan na known as having high income economies, and yung Thailand and Malaysia known as middle income economies. So, bakit sila tinawag na 6 dynamic Asian countries? Because of their ability to export products bound to the market of United States and America, Japan, and European Union or EU. So, yun nga. Dahil sa may ability daw sila to export products. So, bakit nga ba nagkakaroon ng ability na mag-export ng products yung mga bansa? And according rin sa na-observe ko is And sa mga nabasa na rin is because of their advancement in terms of technology, transportation, in machineries, ganon. Kaya nagkakaroon ng ability yung isang state to export products. Pero ang galing, yan. And the influx of foreign direct investment from Europe and United States boosted in capital in Asia. So makikita rin talaga natin na ang laki rin talaga ng tulong ng foreign direct investment para talaga mag-boom yung capital in Asia na yung capital in Asia na nakatulong kaya nag-boom rin yung economic ng Asia kasi nagkaroon ng maraming businesses and na-help rin talaga yung mga bansa in Asia na mag-export rin ng products kasi nagkaroon rin ng capital rin in terms of products sa pagpapagawa ng products and yung mga technologies na rin and transportations na kailangan talaga. So, ayun lang po yung aking report. So, thank you po.
Hi everyone, I am Crispin Abel from Bukman. Now let's tackle another part of external view. First is the Asian financial crisis. Second is the World Trade Organization. Third is the liberation of the economy in Asia. And fourth is the effect of globalization in Asia Pacific and Southeast Asia. First, let's tackle or talk about Asian financial crisis. The Asian financial crisis was a period of financial crisis that gripped much of East Asia and Southeast Asia. It was started in July 1997 and raised fear for a worldwide economic meltdown due to financial contagion. It was said that it was started on Thailand, or it was triggered by Thailand, specifically in Bangkok. Why? Because during that time, Thailand had a reputation as the world's fastest growing country between 1987 and 1996, with an average of 9.5% growth per annum. Investors crowd in, mainly buying property for short-term speculation and not as a long-term investment. And that caused a huge artificial demand and creating a bubble economy. Then, Bangkok think that they can stand on their own, they have a lot of marketing, then maybe that was the reason they unpegged the Thai baht from US dollar and adopted a floating exchange rate, setting a series of currency devaluation from the 25 baht US per dollar to 156 baht per US dollar. And by January 1998, and a massive flight of capital, therefore this suffered the most. Because that time, their banks offered big loans for their real estate business that they failed to collect. By the way, the currency peg, what I said is the unpeg. The currency peg is defined as the policy wherein the government or the central bank maintains a fixed exchange rate to the country currency belonging to another country, resulting in stable exchange rate policy between the two. And the floating exchange is based on their market value, the demand and market value. The financial crisis caused the wide withdrawal of foreign direct investment in Asian tigers, which is defined as the fast-growing countries in Southeast. Then, Asian financial crisis caused the wide withdrawal of foreign direct investment in Asian tigers, which they call the fast-growing countries of East Asia. And that time, it was also called the Asian Economic Miracle, which are the South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, and Hong Kong. And because of the Asian financial crisis, Asia realized that Asian economy depend on the national economic trend, and the withdrawal of the foreign investment harmed the stability of Asia. And of course, if someone scores, someone may take it as a bless. And that was the International Monetary Fund, because they took that opportunity and lent more or less 110 billion to Thailand, Indonesia, and South Korea. And because of the said crisis, and in reason for this, they were forced to supplement the structural adjustment was in Vienna. The second is the World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization is an intergovernmental organization that is concerned with the regulation of internal trade between nations. It was established on the 1st of January 1995, led by Roberto Azevedo. Its headquarters was in Geneva, Switzerland, and with 164 member states. The World Trade Organization mainly functioned to ensure the trade flows as smoothly, predictably, and freely as possible. And the members are the most favored nation. Aside from Timor-Leste, all countries in aside from Timor-Leste, all countries in Southeast are members of this. But I have read some article that at the moment, 2020, Timor-Leste was working to join the World Trade Organization. Then let's go to the third topic, which is first. Let's talk about the China. Under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping, 1904 to 1997, Communist China leads the reformation of the economy. They prioritized agriculture, industry, defense, science, and technology. The government of China created lots of special economic zones for the foreign investors, which later increased the enthusiasm of the economy. And because of that progress, on 2008, the Summer Olympic was held in China. And in 2014, they accepted 100,000 American students to study in their country. And because of those things, they strengthened their relationship, the China and the Western country, especially in the United States. Second is then India. India has more or less 1.3 billion population, where youngsters are greater in number who can do labor, and it was favored to grow their economy. It was pushed further when the government of India accepted foreign investors in 1990. When they changed the license of Raj or permit of the Raj, they received a big investment that helped to develop different industries such as vehicles, clothes, pharmaceutical, technology, and the entry of the foreign direct investment did a great contribution to their economy. The meaning of Raj is permit or rule in Hindi. It was the system of licenses, regulation, and accompanying red tape were required to set up and run business in India between 1947 and 1990. Then the last topic is the effect of globalization in Asia Pacific and South Asia. Before I discuss that, I have some question. What is your favorite fast food chain, and which is the oldest fast food chain in the Philippines? And who does not watch Hollywood movies? And where were you listening to music? Are you familiar with these figures? Are you familiar with these signs? McDonaldization, MTVization, and Hollywoodization are some world identification if a country has already been globalized. So if you see there's a McDo everywhere, then it was fully globalized. Before we entertain Korean culture, we first fall in love in Western values. The first McDonald's branch in the Philippines opened on 1981, and currently 200 branches spread till 2019 and is still counting. And out of 195 countries in the world, 102 has a branch of McDonald's. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
And hi everyone, I'm Jo Marie S. Banado and this is our topic, Generalist View. According to Ehito Kimura, isang professor in political science in University of Hawaii Mansa, ang globalization daw ay nagsimula sa Asia, Pacific, and South Asia. Ang mga katangiang pisikal, ekonomikal, political, and socio-cultural ay mga sanhi ng pagbabago at pag-unlad ng globalisasyon. So, paano niya nga ba ito nasabi? So, here are the reasons why globalization started in Asia Pacific. So, the first one will be the trade of spices. So, ito yung pinaka alam na talaga natin na dahilan kung bakit nga ba nagkaroon ng ugnayan yung mga malalayong lugar na dumayo pa sa isa pang malayong lugar. So, tingnan natin kung bakit nga ba. Europe and other regions, yun nga, yung isa dun yung Europa na nagkaroon ng interest sa Asia dahil dun sa maunlad na kalakalan tungkol sa mga spices o pampalasa at rikado sa pagkain. Isa na rin yung dahilan. At pangalawa, yung mga traders sa Malay Peninsula, Persia, India, and Arabia, mas pinangalap or pinalaganap pa nila yung mga produktong galing sa Asia sa iba't ibang sulok ng mundo. Kung kaya't mas nakilala ang Asia. And the third naman is Northern Europe. Dahil nga sa lugar na kung saan nakaka-experience sila ng winter season or yung taglamig, kinakailangan nilang mag-preserve ng kanilang mga kain kung saan pinapatay nila yung isang hayop at pinipreserve nila ito para mas tumagal or para may imbak sila sa darating na taglamig. At nadiscover nila na mas masarap nga naman at mas tumatagal yung isang pagkain kapag ito'y dinadagdagan pa ng spices na tanging sa Asia lamang din matatagpuan. At yung mga sikat na spices na yon, kagaya ng pepper, nutmeg, cinnamon, at cloves. So, ayan yung mga bansang pinagmulan nila. Okay. Next. So, balik tayo sa history. Ayan. Simula nung makontrol ng Imperyong Ottoman, ang Constantinople, no, nung talagang malaki yung naging epekto nito sa European region dahil talaga namang bumagsak yung kanilang trading basis or yung kanilang kalakalan at pagkalakalan dun sa kanilang lugar, sa kanilang region. Kaya naman ng mga panahon na yun, tanging mga mangangalakal na Venetian lamang yung pwedeng makapagdala ng mga sangkap na pampalasa. At dahil doon, nagkaroon ng mas maraming produkto or mas maraming supply sa Malay Peninsula, India, Persia, at Arabia na syempre kapag mas maraming supply, mas maraming produkto, mas marami yung kinikita ng lugar na yon. At dahil doon, nagkaroon ng inggit yung mga European countries dun sa great profit nga na dinulot ng massive supply ng products. Kaya naman yung mga hari sa Portugal, Spain, England, at Netherlands, nag-isip sila ng isang expeditions upang makapangalap ng sarili nilang tuklas ng produktong pampalasa na pinangunahan nga ni Vasco da Gama noong 1498. Na-reach nila yung India, Moluccas, Siam, Java, at Macau. At dahil doon sa expedition na yun, nakita din nila na-discover nila yung Asia na maunlad nga sa mga spices at yun na yung nagpasimula ng globalisasyon. Ayan. Next. Development in Asia led the rise of New Age and Modern Age. So, syempre, kapag ka merong bagong tuklas na isang bagay, may pagbabago, meron itong magandang naidudulot din naman. Kagaya nitong three important truths na matatagpuan sa Asia kung saan dito kadalasang idinadaan yung mga produkto na kanilang pinagkakalakal, yung mga spices, yung mga iba pang kagamitan na para sa kalakalan. Ito yung mga daan patungong East or Asia papuntang West o Europe. Ito yung una, North route, Middle route, and South route. So sa North, it was passing the valleys of Central Asia, ayan, dito so Samarkand, Bukhara, and so on, hanggang sa Mediterranean. Then the middle route naman was from Malacca in Malay Peninsula going to Indian Ocean, and so on, and going out the Mediterranean Sea. The third one will be south route, starts from Malacca to Indian Ocean, and so on until the end of the Mediterranean Sea. So, yung tatlong ruta na yon, yung tinaguriang three important routes na sa Asia. Dahil nga ang Asia ang trade center of the world. Ayan, during Han's Dynasty naman, ayan, noong 206 BC to 220 AD in China, nagkaroon ng wide range of uh, trading between China and Europe, kung saan may tinawag silang Silk Road. Kasi dun nila dinadaan yung mga kalakal nila na yun nga, which is yung silk. Kasi nung time na yun, napakalaking ah importanteng part yung ginagampanan ng silk sa China sa pandaigdigang kalakalan. Kaya tinawag nila itong daan, kung makikita niyo sa picture, ay ang red na lines, ayan ang ating Silk Road. Ayan. And because of that, syempre maraming mas nagiging productive na yung mga tao, lalo na ang mga Chinese, because Chinese have the progressive technology. Nagkaroon din sila ng mga invention gaya ng gunpowder, paper, compass, and printing, o yung paglilimbag. So alam naman natin na sa kanila din yun nagpasimula. At yung Ming Dynasty, yan, under the authority of Admiral Sheng. Yan. Siya yung namuno ng 2,000 na sasakyang pandagat para makarating sa maraming lugar, sa maraming bansa, gaya ng Arabia, Persia, Java, at Africa. So, yung expedition na rin yun is about discovering dun sa mga products na wala pa masyadong nakakaalam, yung mga kagaya nga ng spices, yung mga produkto pa na pwedeng magamit sa kalakalan. So, those are some reasons kung bakit nga tinaguri ang Asia Pacific nagsimula ang globalization. At may susunod pang mga reasons at go, Shana.
Ayan. So, hello everyone. I'm Shana Dean Acevedo and i-continue ko lang yung report namin. Next is yung economic development of Japan. Ayan. After World War II, ayan, doon na nagbigin yung economic growth and mas nakilala yung Japan in terms of advanced and high technology na meron sila. So, they are more focused when it comes to electronics, appliances, vehicle technology, and robotics. Yan. So, 'di ba, kilala naman natin yung Japan na ganun yung technology na meron sa kanila, which is parang which is malaking contribution yan sa country nila and in other different countries. So, ayan, they produce it not only, ayan, katulad sabi ko kanina, they produce it not only for their countries kasi meron din silang mga products na nailuluwas nila in different countries. So, ayan, yung mga Toyota, Mitsubishi, Sony, Panasonic, ayan yung mga kilalang companies sa buong mundo from Japan. Ayan, as of now, we all know that Japan is one of the most powerful country in Asia. And ayun, that's why ganun ka-develop, ganun kaganda and um, nag increase yung economic growth talaga ng Japan. So, ayan. Maybe it is one of the reasons why globalization started. Kasi nga, ayan, sa economic industry pa lang, in transporting different products, diba? So, ayun. Next is yung economic development of China. In China naman, it is considered as or known as factory of the world. So, consider nila to as factory of the world. It's simply because China is more focused in manufacturing. They are more focused in manufacturing and yung labor talaga nila, yung mga products nila, di ba mostly sobrang mura na lang, ganyan. Ayan. Kilala natin yung China kaya most of things, mga especially mga toys, mga made in China, ganyan. Kaya sobrang laking manufacturing ang meron sa China na parang kumbaga connected siya in different countries. And also, ayun, China rin is malaking tulong sa kanila yung capitalism. When we say capitalism, di ba, ito yung mga private ownership, mga ganun. Basta, private ownership of companies, basta parang ganun. Capitalism, parang more on, di ba, capitalism nga sila. That's why most of them is sanay talaga sa mga businesses. Most of Chinese people are parang mayayaman, ganyan. Kasi sanay sila sa mga businesses, sa mga, kumbaga, kaya nilang makasurvive to have better quality of life. And, ayun, ayan, also, China rin is powerful country. That's, sa ngayon, ano rin siya rin yung pinagkakautangan ng iba't iba't pang bansa. Ayun. So, next. Ayan. Ito yung mga ilan sa mga popular companies known from China, yung mga Huawei, TCL, Skyward, and more. Next po. Ayan. Yung ito naman is economic development of India. So aside from China, India rin is known for a large population. Yan. Despite of that, India known for their when it comes to information technology and outsourcing. Yan. Pag sinabi natin outsourcing, ito yung mga services like mga insurance services, legal services, and mga accounting services, ganyan. So, ayan. And since India is known in terms of IT and outsourcing services, this is also the reason why most Indians are competent and proficient in speaking English. So, di ba pansin din naman natin sa mga Indian, most of them talaga is magagaling pa mag-English. Ayan. Tapos, most of them din is talagang nakapagtapos, mga professional talaga, which is, ayun na yung opportunity nila to na makapagtrabaho in different countries. Next. Yan. Ayan. In international migration naman, one of the best example of that is yung mga OFWs here in the Philippines. Bali, ayun, sobrang laking contribution ng mga OFWs. Not only sa sa families nila, but of course sa country natin mismo, specifically in the Philippines. So, um, OFWs, as they give money, parang kung the more na nagbibigay sila ng pera, of course, yung mga families nila is nakakapag-provide ng mga needs, ng mga foods, shelters, education, better quality of life, which is parang malaking tulong talaga rin sa bansa natin. Diba? Especially sa mga tao. Ayun. And, ayun, sa international migration din is maraming, most Asians is nagmamigrate talaga in other countries. Some reasons like dahil mataas ang sahod, um, parang maganda yung education, yung seguridad nila. Ayun yung mga some common reasons why most Asians migrate in different or in other countries. So, ayun. 'Di ba alam naman natin na globalization is parang interconnectedness of each countries, sharing of cultures, ideas. So, yun. And also, ano pa ba? Ayan, yung mga work pala, yung mga work, most common na work nila, yung mga professional din, si mga nurse and caregivers. Marami pwedeng trabaho, um, maraming trabaho yung mga Filipino doon, mga OFW sa iba't ibang bansa. Next. Yan, yung regional free trade arrangement naman, ayan, because of the growing economy of Asia Pacific and Southern Asia, they had several organizations under the system of capitalism. Ayan. So as they grow, as economic increases, developing, so nagkakaroon tayo ng different organization which is parang ang goal din naman is about sa ayan, economic industry. So, ayan, maganda rin tong itong mga free trade arrangement, itong mga organizations. It's because nagkakaroon tayo ng same, di ba lahat naman ng mga, tawag dito, basta meron tayong same na ina-achieve, interest. That's why maganda talaga yung mga organizations na kasama ka dun. And due to the progressive economy of each country, specifically in Asia, they created an agreement and support of each country so that it can increase the trade of products and services worldwide. So, ayun talaga yung main reason. Next. Next is yung open regionalism. Yan. From the word open, yan. open siya for all country, especially in non-members. Ayan, non-members dun sa mga APEC, ASEAN. Kasi nga, of course, hindi lang naman tayo lang ang ano, ang kumbaga parang hindi tayo pwedeng magpapasok or maganda makipag ano ba to? Basta hindi lang naman tayo lang yung pwedeng magkaroon ng opportunity na ganyan o makinabang. Of course, lahat naman tayo is under din naman na may mga economic industry, ganyan. So, we are not tolerating discrimination in terms of economic growth, ganyan. Supporting lang talaga, support lang, tapos maintain lang natin yung competitiveness at the same time. Ayan, kasi nga 'di ba, open regionalism. So, 'di ba ang ano nga ng globalization is magkaroon ng connections in each countries. So, ano pa ba? Ayun, yun lang naman. Next po,
Ayan. So, the last one will be products of Asia, Pacific, and South Asia. As you can see dito sa mga photos natin, ayan, mga K-pop idols, mga Japanese products of mga anime, mga manga. Ayan. So, ito yung mga isa sa mga kinalakihan natin na mga Asian products, no? Gaya ng mga Hello Kitty, Pokemon, anime, Astro Boy, yung mga manga are all products of Japan. Na alam ko namang marami yung tumatangkilik at maging ang mga K-pop or yung K-wave of South Korea na sa panahon ngayon parang wala na atang wala na atang taong hindi alam ang tungkol sa K-pop. Hindi man fan, pero at least may konting knowledge, 'di ba? And then isa pa dito yung Bollywood movies, ayan kagaya nitong Every Child is Special and itong Three Idiots na napakasikat na marami na rin sa atin yung nakapanood na isa rin sa mga nare-recognize na in the film of industry. So those are examples of products of Asian Pacific and um, South Asia. So ayan, pwede yung tingnan ulit yung picture. So those are the 9 reasons why globalization started in Asia Pacific. So that's it po. Thank you.
thank you po.
So hello everyone, I'm Babers Alcantara and my topic is the alternative view. So according to Ihito Kimura, regionalization of the countries and different social movements in Asia Pacific and South Asia are the challenges in globalization. So affirmation of regionalism in Asia Pacific and South Asia. So meron pong 6 na nagpapatunay ng regionalismo sa Asia Pacific at sa Timog Asia. So the number 1 is the conquest of Japan in time of World War II. So ito po yung pananakop ng Japan sa panahon ng ikalawang digmaang pandaigdig. So July 8, 1853, after 215 years of independence, the port of Japan opened. So 215 years of independence ng Japan, so nabuksan doon yung daungan ng kanilang pangangalakad. So sa that time, yung bansang US, France, Britain at Russia, so ito yung mga bansa na nagtagumpay sa pagtatangkang makapasok yung kanilang mga mangangalakal. Next, year 1867, finished with shogun leadership and installed Prince Mutsuhito to become an emperor. So yung shogun is a title that was granted by the emperor to the country's two military commander. So sila yung mga supreme military dictator. October 23, 1867 to July 30, 1912. So major restoration of 1868 came to identified with the subsequent era of major political, economic, social change. The Meiji period that brought about the modernization and westernization of the country. So Meiji means enlightened rule. So yung Meiji restoration, so ito po yung naging pasimula ng modernisasyon sa Japan. So sa panahon nung Meiji, so pinayagan ng pamahalaan ang pagpasok sa Japan ng mga makabagong dayuhang kaalaman. So that time, nagpadala sila ng mga mag-aaral, kawani at pinuno sa Europe para matuto sila ng makabagong programang pang-industrialisasyon. Then yung naging bunga nun is naging maunlad, moderno at industrialisado ang Japan bago ang World War II. Next, September 1, 1939, war broke out in Europe and Japan takes sides, Germany and Italy. So, nangyari yung ikalawang digmaan ng pandaigdig sa noong 1939 to 1945. So, maraming mga bansa that time yung naging bahagi ng digmaan na hindi nagtagal is nahati sila sa magkatunggaling persa, which is yun yung Allied powers at yung Axis powers. So, nung time na sumiklab yung digmaan sa Europe, so yung Japan is kumampi siya sa Germany and Italy. Then December 8, 1914, Japan bombed the Pearl Harbor, so it became a signal of the spread of the World War II in Asia Pacific. So yun yung naging hudyat ng paglaganap ng World War II. Next is the Asia para sa mga Asyano. So that time kasi, yung layunin ng Japan is pamunuan at masakop ang buong Asia. So yung goal nila is kunin yung tiwala ng mga bansa sa pamamagitan ng paglungsad nitong Asia para sa mga Asyano. So yung konseptong ito is magkakaisa yung mga Asyano na tutulan ang mga pang-aabuso ng mga kanlurang bansa sa pangunguna ng US. Next is the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere was concept created and formulated during the Showa era shogun by the government and military of Empire of Japan. It represented the desire to create a self-sufficient bloc of Asian nation led by the Japanese and free of Western powers. So yung ibig sabihin lang nito is ito yung programang magiging daan para wakasan ang panghihimasok ng United States, Britain, France at Russia sa mga yaman ng mga bansa sa Asia. Then the second one is the reappreciation in Asia values. So Mahathir bin Mohamad of Malaysia and Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore emphasizes the importance of Asia cultural values. So economic miracle, work ethic, and paternalistic. So ayon po sa kanila, so ang pagsama ng Asia cultural values sa programang pang-ekonomiya ay ang naging susi daw sa economic miracle ng Singapore at ng Malaysia. So yung Asia cultural values ay nagpapahalaga siya sa work ethic, paggalang sa otoridad at komunidad, at pagtanggap sa tradisyon ng paternalistic na pamahalaan. Yung paternalistic na pamahalaan, ito yung people in authority na nagagawa ng desisyon sa ibang tao, imbis na sila yung magdesisyon dapat sa sarili nila. Next is the newly industrialized country, Asia Dragon and Tiger economy. So in between decades 1960 and 1990, seen the economic growth of Singapore and rapid industrialization, which is na hanggang ngayon sa ika-21 siglo, so yung Singapore ay isa sa mga bansang may advanced economy sa mundo. Next is the new industrialized market economy. Malaysia have 6.5% growth with their GDP every year in past 50 years. So, isa to sa mga newly industrialized market economy sa kasalukuyan sa Timog Asia, yung bansang Malaysia. So, yung pag-unlad daw ng Singapore at Malaysia is nagpapatunay daw yun sa mahalagang papel ng tradisyon na dapat maging halimbawa sa mga papaunlad ng mga bansa sa Asia. The number 3 is the regional agreement o yung kasunduang panrehiyon. So 1997 proposed the construction of East Asia Economic Council, EAEC, in Asia. So ito ay kinabibilangan dapat ng kasapi ng ASEAN, China, South Korea at Japan. So sa kasamaang palad nga lang is tinutulan to ng United States at ng Japan. Sa kasalukuyan, ang ASEAN plus yung tatlong bansa, yung Japan, China at South Korea ay isang kaayusang panrehiyon na nakabatay sa ugnayang pang-ekonomiya sa Asia. The number 4 is the Asian Monetary Fund or the AMF, so financial institution that will help the countries affected by Asia financial crisis in 1997. So, magkakaroon ng pondo na aabot ng $100 billion na manggagaling sa 10 kasaping bansa. So, ito ay binubuo ng China, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Australia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand at ng Pilipinas. So, naudot nga lang yung pagtatag nito dahil sa pagtutol ng United States at ng IMF. So yung IMF, alam naman natin, yun yung International Monetary Fund, which is malaki siyang institution na nagpapautang sa iba't ibang bansa. So isa siya tumutol dito. So number 5 is the Regional Terror Group. So Jemaah Islamiyah or JI formed in Indonesia with touch of local armed movements in Philippines, Malaysia, and Thailand. JI purpose is to establish a caliphate state which includes Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Singapore, and south part of the Philippines. So yung Jemaah Islamiyah or JI, so yung meaning nito is Islamic Congregation, frequently abbreviated JI, is a South Asia militant extremist Islamist rebel group dedicated to the establishment of an Islamic State in South Asia. So itong regional terror group, ito yung umako sa 2002 Bali bombings na pumatay sa 200 katao na kinabibilangan ng mga dayuhang turista mula sa Australia at iba pa. So yung caliphate state naman is the political religious state comprising the Muslim community and the lands and peoples under its domination in the centuries following the death of the Prophet Muhammad. So, ang sistemang caliphate ang hamon sa Western dominance. Okay, the last affirmation, which is the number 6, is the local movement o ang lokal na kilusan. So, the letter A is the Santisuk Thailand created their own money called Bia. So yung Santisuk Thailand is a district in the central part of Nan Province, Northern Thailand. So dahil sa masamang naidulot ng Asian financial crisis noong 1997, ang komunidad sa Santisuk Thailand is lumikha sila ng sariling pera na tinawag nilang biyak, BIAK or BIA, BIA. So, ang pera ay maaaring gamitin sa pagbili ng mga kakailanganing produkto ng mga mamamayan. So, ito yung naging lokal na tugon nila sa masamang epekto ng pagsama-sama ng mga ekonomiya sa bansa. The letter B is the community-supported agriculture's CSA and the Sekatsu Club Japan. These movements encourage the patronage by citizen local products to their community. So, ibig sabihin lang nitong letter B, so ito yung kumakalaban sa produktong iniluluwas ng mga dayuhang mangangalakal. So overall, dito sa alternative view ni Hitokimura, so alternative regionalism in the Southeast Asia context should therefore involve a spontaneous bottom-up process that recognizes the importance of wide range of stakeholders in the making of regional system and institutions. So that's all for my report. So thank you for listening.